say, hey, tell us, right? Do you feel like you could rip it off? A little bit? Yeah? Yeah? What about you, Connor? Feel like you'd be like, yeah, right? He's like, a little bit, right? And the reason why I'm asking this is because, again, leadership starts with you. And the hardest person to lead is yourself. It's being able to look in the mirror and evaluate and say, how am I aligning with CHOP? How am I building community? How am I doing things with honor? How am I taking ownership of my thoughts and actions and behaviors? How am I persevering? You guys follow me on that? Because here's the thing. I've seen it in business and I've seen it in athletics. This is how it plays out, right? You might be the person that they're like, hey, we got to follow this guy, or you might be the best player on your team, whatever it may be. But if you're the pitcher, right, and when things don't go your way, you're slamming your mitt, you're freaking out, and you're blaming everybody else, you think people are going to follow you? No. And what are you doing? You're not leading yourself, right? If you're the quarterback and your wide receiver runs the wrong route, and the first thing you're doing is screaming at him, do you think they're going to follow you? No, because you're not leading yourself. Does that make sense? If you're the point guard and you're dribbling down and we're not in the right set, and it's everybody else's fault, right? And you freak out, are you leading yourself? No, you're not mastering your own emotions in that moment. You're not mastering who you are in your craft. You follow me on that? All right, same with volleyball, setting, right? Who's a volleyball player? Anybody? Yeah, like if you're a setter and you're mad at your outside hitter, right? As a setter, it's like, how can I help them get better, right? How do I lead myself in this moment to lead them? You guys follow me on that? So where's leadership the hardest? With yourself. Fist bump somebody. All right? So as we start right now, we need to, one, get a clear picture of who we are or where we want to go. And then we're going to get a plan. All right? And then we're going to start talking about a person. Okay? But I want you to understand how leadership works at the end of the day. Okay? And the best thing that I can describe it as is like a baseball diamond. Who's my baseball players? Yeah, you guys are going to love this. All right? And so first base, it's win with yourself. Right? Or it's win within. You got to win within. You got to be able to figure out who am I, where do I want to go, what are the things I need to develop, right? What are the pitfalls, what are the challenges, where do I get extremely mad, where am I not, where am I distracted, where am I not extending trust or not being trustworthy, where am I not being open, right? All those challenges that we say we face right now as leaders, how are we leading ourselves through that? You guys follow me on that? So first is putting self before leader, right? Self before leader. You got to lead yourself. And the second thing is you got to learn how to win with others. All right? And this one's really, really difficult. And Dalloway, you've heard me talk about this specifically with the football team, right? Is that we all, so same with you, Marv, like we all have the capability here, right? We all have the capability. And I'm going to use this water bottle more than once as like a metaphor. But the reality is that when we are trying to lead others, we get really close to doing it. We get really close to building relationships or community, right? And then something happens where we get a little uncomfortable. How many guys have felt that before? When you really feel like, man, I gotta say something. I gotta speak this, or I gotta say this, or I gotta challenge this person, hold this person accountable. And as soon as you get that feeling, you go, nope, I'm gonna run. Right? We get super close, we go, no, we're gonna do this thing, and then as soon as we get there, we go, nope, we're gonna run. Right? And what that is your ego. Our ego blocks us. Our ego holds us back. You guys follow me? And ego's not always bad, but we got to identify, again, leading ourselves, is where does that ego block us, right? Where does it push us back? You guys follow me on that, right? And so that's winning with others. And there's multiple other things we can go into there, but I want to give a framework first, okay? And then finally, it's winning with skill. Or ability. Alright? Winning with skill and ability. And a lot of times when I ask groups of people or I work with leaders, I'll say, hey, what's an area you can develop in? What's an area you need to develop in? You know what they talk about? I need to communicate better. I need to be able to do this better. I need to be able to whatever, right? The reality is that it comes down here first, right? How do you communicate with yourself? You guys follow me on this? How do you communicate with yourself? What do you tell yourself when things are going great, but what do you tell yourself when things aren't going great? You guys follow me? And then it's, how do you do that with others? Going back to the scenario, if you're a pitcher, or you're a catcher, or you're a point guard, whatever it is, when things aren't going great, what's your communication with others? Are you helping them to win? Are you helping them to enhance their performance? Are you helping to get the best out of them? Or are you protecting their ego and blaming them? Does that make sense? Because if we want to be at our best, if that's maybe a common interest, is that we want collectively here at Reese Puffer for this to be a place where we thrive, like there's one way to go, nope, it's your fault, right? And that doesn't get us there. Or there's another way of saying, hey man, what do you need to keep moving? This is the direction we're going. What do we need to do? You guys follow me? That's what great leaders do. And then you can start developing the skills. Then we can start talking about, all right, what's this skill we can lay in? What's this skill? And how do we do this? And how do we do that? And that's going to be part of, as we move throughout this year, is developing a lot of these skills. All right? And we're going to have a QR code for a little survey thing that you guys get to input areas that you think you can grow and develop in. So we can help equip you with that too. Does that make sense? All right? And then finally, obviously, everybody wants to go home. Right? Everybody wants to hit the home run. Okay? But here's where this image really enhances itself, okay? Because for those of you that play baseball, right, you play t-ball, and then what do? You move up to what? What do they call it? Little League, right? And then you play Little League, and you move up to like the majors, and then you play majors, and you move up to maybe like middle school or club teams, and then maybe you move from there to high school, and then you move there to where? Hopefully college, and then you move there to maybe AAA, AA, professional, the majors. You guys follow me? And the thing is that does baseball ever change? Does baseball ever change outside of the tee and maybe the bases being a little bit further apart? Right? Never changes. It all stays the same. So what makes those baseball players great? Well, they're able to still win within and display the skills needed to actually perform at a high level each time they step into a new level. Does that make sense? So like, for example, like here, we're talking about winning within. We're going to develop that, but guess what? Some of you guys that are freshmen next year, there's going to be a new level to winning within. It's not like, oh, I won within once, I'm good. No, man, we're going to keep moving. And you might win with others at a certain level and in a certain way and getting people moving on the right page. And it might just be high five and fist bump and whatever. But guess what? As you develop who you are and your confidence, we're going to say, hey, man, how are you holding people accountable? How are you talking about CHOP, and how are you leading and maybe casting a little bit of vision of where we could go? You guys follow me on this? And then we keep developing the skills. And maybe the skills first is, how do we communicate CHOP? How do we talk about it? How do we keep that in the forefront? How do we keep thinking about that to do some of these things? But then maybe the next level is, how do we hold people accountable to it? How do we say, hey, Braden, like that's not showing honor in what we do, man. This is what we need to do. You guys follow me? All right? And we keep developing and growing. And that's going to be the vision as we move through this year and helping you guys do that. Does that sound good? So my question for you guys right now is, what seems scary with that? Where's the like, does anybody have like, I don't know, man. This seems a little nerve-wracking in this, or this might be a really big challenge for me. I don't know about that. Where's somewhere, again, trying to be open and discuss it so we can navigate this together. Where's an area that you're like, I don't know about this? What are some thoughts? Go for it, please.
I feel like one thing that pretty much for people is like yourself, like knowing that you're not always doing the right thing either. You gotta see that too.
Yeah, and we're gonna highlight that today. That's gonna be an action step moving forward, so we can build confidence with that. I appreciate you sharing that, man. Go for it.
Regulating your emotions, like when things are not going your way, or maybe I don't know, because like when things are going good, I mean you're happy, you're real positive, but then you can just have a switch like that. And
Yeah.
It can go all down, regulate your emotions.
Yeah. Can I be real with you guys for a minute? You know the times that I've built the most trust with people that I lead is when I've made mistakes. When I've screwed up. When I've lost my emotions. And then all of a sudden I go, hey man, Corey, man, I shouldn't have done that. Dude, you don't deserve that. All right, I need to be better, man. I need to be better. And then all of a sudden people go, dang, man, he's real. That makes sense? Too often we try to save our ego and we freak out to protect it, and then we try to excuse it and validate it. How many of you guys know people like that or been there? Right? And the thing is when we do that, we don't build trust. We're not open. You guys follow me? We end up being the same reason why people struggle to follow, why people struggle to actually step up and lead. But when you make that mistake and you go, hold on a second, like who I am is somebody that's trying to be the best I can be and win within and help others win. right? So what does that require of me? Well, it might require me apologizing. It might require me just raising my hand and saying, hey, this could be a tough situation for me, right? And I appreciate you doing that. Does that make sense? All right? Leaders don't always have to be right, guys. You don't always have to be right. You don't have to have the right answers, all right? You have to be willing to step into the unknown and say, hey, guys, this is the direction we're going. You guys follow me on that? So if that's a perspective that you came in here like, I don't know, I don't have the answers. You don't need to. You don't need to, right? Our answers are more around chop, and you living that out every day. And if somebody says, hey, you're not doing things you're not persevering in this moment, it's like, all right, what does this situation require of me? All right, hey, yeah, I'm struggling right now. Can you help me? I need help. I need support right now. Does that make sense? That's what leaders do, okay? And some of you guys might be thinking like, how can I begin to lead? Okay, this is what I would challenge us first. I didn't tell Braden I was going to do this. Come on up here. All right, because we have a framework, and I want to draw this metaphor. So if I told Braden like, hey, just hold your hand out, and I'm going to give you this water, and I know you're super thirsty, man. It's the best water in the world. I'm going to give this to you, and you got to drink it. All right, hold your hand flat. All right, and you got to drink this water. All right, you ready? Sure, hold it flat. All right, man, taste that water. It's so good. Right? Pretty messy, isn't it? Right? How messy is that? Is that effective? No, not at all, right? And here's the thing, if I just give him water without a container, is he going to be able to take that water? Not at all. But if I go, hey man, I know you're thirsty, take that water, man, it's so good, right? You don't have to drink it. Is that way easier? Yeah, absolutely, thank you. All right? And I know that's a silly metaphor, okay? But the thing is that we have a container, guys, right? The water, a lot of ways, is our conversations, which is fluid. Our conversations can be fluid, all right? It's going to be different every time. If you need some, I brought some. They can be fluid, right? But the thing is that we have a container in which that fluid can rest within that framework. You know what that is? It's chop, right? It's chop. And so we can go, I don't need to go, hey man, Braden, you need to try harder. Come on, man, we need more out of you, right? And that can seem kind of intimidating. And Braden's like, what the heck, man? Like, what are you talking about? You guys understand, see the metaphor? But if I go, hey Braden, man, we as Rockets, we persevere, dude. That's one more step. I got you, let's go. That's a different conversation. That's water where he's like, oh, I'm a part of something bigger than myself. And yeah, we do persevere, right? Or it's like, hey Braden, you're on the edge here, man. Like, we're about community. You gotta come in the fold, dude. This is what we do, we connect. That's the root of our resiliency, is that we connect, right? That's like handing a water bottle and saying, here, man, take a drink. You guys follow me on that? All right? So understand, what I know most of us have our phones, all right? This is gonna be some of my challenge to you, is I want you to write in your phone, in a note. How many of us have iPhones? Everybody? Everybody does. Look at that. All right? I want you to go in your notes right now. Go in your notes. I want you to go into your notes, and I want you to start a new note, and I want you to write chop, right? C, and then go down a line, H, go down a line, O, and go down a line in P. All right, and obviously the first one's community, right? So write out community. And do we know exactly how we define community? All right, I'll say it so you guys can write it down. It's put all Rockets above self through service, support, and trust in Rocket City. And I want you to put right below that, what's an action how are you gonna lead yourself within that, all right? Take a minute, and I want you to say, how are you gonna lead yourself, right? To be somebody that develops community, to be somebody that's a connector within the community, to be somebody that talks about our community, whatever that may be, how are you gonna lead yourself? How are you gonna win within first? now what I want you to do, I know we're still typing a little bit, I want you to talk to the person next to you, I want you to share, what is the thing that you wrote down? Or what is the thing you're thinking about right now? 3, 2, 1, go.
Focus on like more myself and my own emotions.
All right. Let's do this. Let's hear from 2 people. What's a way that you're going to build community? Be an example of community, be a connector of community, take action of, what do we say, service, support, and trust in Rocket City. What are some thoughts? Galloway can. No? Connor can.
We were just saying, like, going out to other games, like other sports, and just cheering them on.
Absolutely. What sports do you play?
I play hockey and lacrosse.
Lacrosse? Okay. So lacrosse is in season right now?
No,
No? All right, so where are you going to be Friday night?
football game.
Yep. Absolutely. You see that? Because now that he said this is how I'm gonna build community, it's easy for me to go, hey man, are you at the football game? Hey man, right? Like be that example. And what I would challenge you to do is if you already plan on being there, it's like, hey hockey guys, if you're not playing football, let's go. Right? Because not only are you supporting Rocket City, but then you're also building the community within your team. Why? Because you're doing something outside of your sport. You guys see that? And that's being an example and living community. I love that. What else? One other person. Yeah, go for it.
Maybe bringing new ideas to the table as far as like, I don't know, just new ideas. I guess.
Yeah, new ways that we can connect, new ways that we can build community, new ways that we can support, serve, absolutely. Yep, and I would say this is a space that we can do that. That's good. And keep rolling, like we're gonna go through this a little bit quicker, but the H, right, that's honor. And it's do the right thing for Rocket City. All right? Do the right thing for Rocket City, okay? It doesn't always mean do the right thing for you. It doesn't mean do the right thing so that you get recognized or so that this happens for you. It's doing the right thing for Rocket City, all right? And so let's use Connor as an example, right? Friday night, he might not feel like going to the football game because it starts to rain. But what's the right thing for Rocket City? I'm gonna go anyways, man. It might be raining, but Dalloway's playing. I'm gonna go support these guys. Marvin's playing. I'm gonna go support these guys, right? And that's the thing is sometimes you don't want to, but you still do because why? That's who we are. You guys follow me on that? All right, that's the H. Think of a way that you can show honor and do the right thing for Rocket City. All right, 1 action steps. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, good. I want you to share it with the other person next to you. So if you share it with somebody to your left, share it with somebody to your right now. All right. What's the action step that you put down, or what are you thinking about? What do you think?
Whatever that may be, like, you know, like school had like and also like being from other people, other teams, is they represent.
Yeah.
I'm always.
So what do you think with honor? All right. This is what I would say. It's like maybe if you ever find yourself playing basketball, frustrated with somebody, right? How do you do the right thing for officials when you show honor? Where you show up building community, where you show up enhancing their performance, building them up instead of just protecting yourself. Does that make sense? Right? That could be an action that you know. You guys follow me? Cool. What are 2 people? What did we talk about? Honor. All right, Dalloway, and then I'm gonna pick on Marv because he's not yet. Look, he took a deep breath. What do you think?
We said that like limiting like penalties or like things like that in your sport, where it's like at the end of the day you're representing RPs. So like when you go out on the field or like respective thing for your sport is like, you know, being rude to like the other players on the other team or on your team, which are like the refs and stuff like that, that negatively impacts the way they view our school in general.
Dude, let's pull that string a little bit because when you're having emotional responses, and let me say this: emotions are not bad. Emotions are energy in motion at the end of the day. But you're either owning your emotions or your emotions are owning you. And so if you're somebody that your emotions own you and you have a late hit, you say something stupid to a ref, right? You're complaining, going arms up, screaming at your coach or your teammates, right? What's owning you?
Your emotions.
Your emotions. Are you winning within there? No. And so what do you have to do first? You have to win within. You guys see how that connects? Like that's a perfect example of like, all right, man, honor is this. I got to be able to win within because if I do that and I show honor, guess what? People are following you. Why? Because I know Dalloway's frustrated with this, but he's still showing up and doing the next right thing for Rocket City. You guys see how we can connect the dots there? That's how it works, man. I love it. All right, Marv, I'm going to put you on the spot.
I said something similar, kind of like when you're off campus, like admire something you argue on the chest. When you like how you treat others, that's how they're gonna see you.
Absolutely.
See the brand.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Even in spaces outside of athletics, in the hallways, how are we treating people, right? How are we talking about other teams? How are we talking about other athletes? What's the conversation around that, right? And when we pass them, again, building community, fist bump and high five. Why? Because that's who we are. We're honoring them and saying, hey man, I know the work you're putting in, keep going, right? We're encouraging and lifting them up. You guys see how that works? Good. High five somebody. Yeah, please.
To me, honor is that second base. If you're having a hard time walking around the halls, high-fiving and fist-bumping other Rocket athletes, then you're really going to have a hard time leading your team when bullets are flying, right? If it's so goofy to you in the hallway to see Lainey Owen and give her a fist bump because she's an athlete, then it's going to be really hard for you to hold Liam accountable in a soccer meeting. I mean it. Like if you're not willing to put yourself out there in the hallway in a safe environment, think about how hard it's going to be to hold each other accountable when bullets are flying. Does that make sense? That's the part where like I hear some people saying, hey, but you're saying chop. And I'm like, oh, you're kind of being, excuse my language, a jackass right now because you're goofing around about it. If you're doing it chop and it's like, man, heck yeah, then that's a different thing, right? There is a paradigm shift in, is it something that we're doing, haha, funny, if we're just doing because I said to, or if it's something that you're doing because you're living, then that's a change. Does that make sense? Probably should have said that word and had the video going. Sorry.
That's all right. But I mean, and he's right. It's the paradigm shift of how you're approaching it, right? And one of the things I would say is we all have iPhones here, right? What happens when we have an old iPhone and we keep trying to update it? Eventually, what does it do? It won't update, right? And right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to upgrade an operating system. So if you are approaching like, man, chop, whatever, like one, you're not winning within with this. This is our container. This is our framework, right? You're also not winning with others. And the reality is that if that's the way you're approaching it, we got to throw the iPhone out. We got to get a new one. Because you might be approaching it that way, but guess what? You approach it that way until you see other people living it out and it's working. Other people living it out and they're being transformed and their teams are performing better. You guys follow me on that? All right, so that is big, okay? What's the O? How many of you guys know what the O is? Ownership, yeah, ownership, right? And then I love this one because this is the stuff that I work on all the time. It's you take responsibility to lead with your thoughts, your words, and your actions for Rocket City. And I want to expand on that just a little bit, all right? Again, take responsibility to lead with your thoughts, your words, and your actions for Rocket City. Because here's the thing. Again, going to here, we talk a lot about communication, but guess where communication starts? Internal, right? What's your self-talk? What's your self-talk? All right? Are you somebody that you're coaching yourself? Right? Or are you criticizing yourself? Are you a critic? Okay? Because here's the reality. The way you talk to yourself is the way you're going to talk to other people. All right? The way that the things you end up saying to yourself is similar to the things that you say to other people, especially when the pressure is on. So if we're leading with our thoughts, because our thoughts drive emotions, and our emotions drive our behaviors, if we get to the root of our thoughts, and our thoughts are beginning to be, how do I build community here? How do I show Corey honor? Right? How do I take ownership for my influence to impact Michaela? Right? How do I keep persevering and getting Dalloway to come alongside and keep running this down with me? Right? If those are my thoughts, I'm going to show up and be better, and I'm going to be able to lead myself and lead others better. Does that make sense? But if my thoughts are, oh gosh, I hate this sucks, like I don't want to be here, man, it's hot out, man, it's raining, gosh, I don't want to go to the football game. Like, if those are my thoughts, guess my emotions, I'm going to feel down, but guess what my behaviors are going to be? Not aligned with our container, not aligned with our framework, not aligned with who we are. And so when push comes to shove, and you're trying to be out on the soccer field, and you're saying, hey man, we got to go in this direction, people are going to go, dude, what? Who are you? You guys follow me? But if we're able to do this every single day, and these are our thoughts, especially in these hallways, and this is the thing that we're consistently thinking about, it's a lot easier to live this out. You guys follow me on that? Does that make sense to you? Is it clicking? All right? Last thing. What's the last one? Perseverance. All right? I love this. It's be gritty in the face of adversity for Rocket City. Be gritty in the face of adversity for Rocket City. And to me, I think there's different aspects of grit, which I can talk on in another time. Because there's times where you got to be gritty and persevere and actually rest. But there's times you got to be gritty and persevere even though you're tired. Or you got to be gritty and persevere because coach moved you to a different place and we need something else out of you. And it's a role and a skills that you have to develop that you're not used to. Right? Sometimes you got to be gritty and do that. Sometimes you got to be gritty and maybe you're really good at bench press, but man, we don't need you to bench press a lot. We need you to squat. We need you to build some strength. You got to build some strength and a weakness, right? There's different areas of grit, but we have to be able to have that and say, who am I and how do I want to show up and what's the next right step? You guys follow me on this? And here's why all this matters. We're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to give you actions because we first have to begin to win within, all right? And we have to start building the confidence in ourselves to be able to do this. How many guys would love to increase your confidence? Right? Everybody would, okay? Here's one of the best ways I've found to increase your confidence, okay? One thing that I'll say before I give you this is that confidence, at times, you're going to feel it and you're not, okay? And I believe it's doing the things that you say you're going to do, chop, even when you don't feel like it. That's one of your biggest confidence builders, all right? Is to do that anyways. But what we need to understand is that chop, at the end of the day, it's at the core of who we are, all right, as an athlete, okay? And I'm not saying it's your entire identity, but this is what I'm saying. If you're an athlete here, the backbone of you as an athlete, the backbone of who you are, your identity, is chop, right? It's how you build community. It's how you show honor. It's how you take ownership. It's how you persevere and lead others to do that. And when you focus on that, that shapes your actions, habits, and behaviors, okay? If you don't focus on that, guess what your actions, habits, and behaviors are shaped by? Everybody else, right? And so if you want to lead yourself and you want to own your own actions, habits, and behaviors, you want to be somebody that has control of how you show up, is being able to say, what's that chop? What's that core piece, those core values of our identity? Does that make sense? And then the other piece is that you trust the outcomes because it builds from within. And so what I'm challenging us to do as we start to build the confidence, as we continue this conversation, okay, I'm asking you to look at that note every single day, all right? You can take that, you can copy that note, and you put it in your calendar for as soon as you wake up, right? As soon as you, when you're brushing your teeth, when you park in the parking lot before you come inside, you put it at the same time every single day, and you look at that, right? What's community? What's honor? What's ownership? What's perseverance? That's what you do in the morning. And then in the evening, you ask yourself, right? Write this down. What did I do well? What did I not do well? And what action am I going to take? Because the other piece of confidence is that you begin to self-evaluate. Right? We all know that at the end of the day, are we going to be held accountable? We're going to see results, and we're going to view ourselves through those results sometimes. Absolutely. Results matter. Does that make sense? I hate to lose. I was just talking to Mr. Sandy the other day. I hate to lose. But you know what I hate more? Not performing at my best. And what this self-evaluation, being able to focus on this every single day helps us do, is us to perform. Us to perform at our best, no matter the situation. You guys follow me on that? And that's how we begin to win within. And when we do that, that's when we can start winning with others, and we can start running these bases. Sound good? So this is the last thing I'll share with you guys. I think that's probably the bell.
I'll get you all passes in class, don't worry about no rush.
Perfect. So this is what you don't have to take it right this second, but we're asking for all of your feedback on that form of one, where you kind of evaluate yourself currently with your leadership, but more importantly, what we want to hear is, what are the areas that you want to develop and grow in? What are the areas in content points?
Attention students, will Isabel Lutto and Jackson Helfrey please come see Mrs. Wells in Student Services. Isabel Lutto and Jackson Helfrey to Student Services. Thank you.
In different things that you guys want to learn. Does that make sense? Right? Because that feedback will shape who else we bring in to be able to give and share and work with you guys. You guys follow me on that? All right? So you're going to shape a lot of the direction of this as well. Sound good? So what action, or actually I'll ask this, what questions or things come to mind, or things that you're like, man, I'm excited about this as we're wrapping up today? What are some thoughts?
Thought for me is look around the room. Now you all know the other people in here. How can you help hold each other accountable? This is the low-hanging fruit. This is the easy group, because now you have a common conversation. So who in here can you challenge you as an accountability partner of, hey, did you look at your phone? Hey, did you think about what you did well, what you didn't do well, what action steps? Somebody in here is an easy mark for you to have that conversation. If you can't do that, then you're going to struggle. All right, I will send emails, I'll remind, I'll do those things, but I think that's pretty low hanging fruit. That makes it pretty easy to start, get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some other thoughts?
What was the question? Sorry.
Just what are some highlights or exciting thing, or like a thought that comes to mind as we're wrapping up today? Go for it.
Being able to be part of like getting Greaseball for sports closer together.
Absolutely. If you guys if you just pause and think about this for a second. If we really take action on this, and we grab a hold of this, and we really give it our all, think about where Reese Puffer Athletics, and even the community, like our school, think of where that is in 5 years. Think of where that is. You know what the number one thing that helps with like mental health, right? Because this is a space that I'm in a lot. You know what one of the number one things that helps with mental health? Community. Connections. And when I went to the bathroom in there and it said 24-hour crisis, and it has all those little things to pull, right, to call. You guys know what I'm talking about? They're all gone, right? You know what that communicates to me? Yes, like mental health is tough right now, but also it communicates to me, how connected are we as a school? How connected are we as an athletic department? You guys can be those individuals that connect people. You guys follow me? Like we can be that group. We can actually lead and transform the athletics, but we can also transform our entire school. And I hope that you embrace that impact and that influence, because it's huge. And we all have that sitting in this room. We're all capable of that. That makes sense? That makes me excited. What's another one? Excitement. Go for it, man.
I think it's nice, like, to have an opportunity to get more tools that we need to know how to like lead, because it's hard to lead when you don't know kind of like what to do.
Yep. For sure. Go for it.
Strengthen myself as a leader so I can, I don't know, focus on other people.
Yeah.
And try to bring the community like you said.
Love it. What other one? What about you down there, blue? Yeah.
Being able to have a community that helps build each other up.
Yeah, where you don't feel like you're on an island? Good. Alright. So my action step for you guys, right? Please fill out that form, but look at that. It takes 2 minutes a day. It takes 2 minutes a day. And you're not gonna feel it right away. But in 30 days, 45 days, 60 days from now, you will start having more confidence. And in situations that typically get you a little bit nervous, you might feel a little bit nervous, but you're gonna have actions and thoughts of like, all right, how do I build community, right? What does it look like to show honor? How do I take ownership of my thoughts and my actions? How do I keep persevering? And it's gonna help guide the next right step. You guys follow me on that? And I know if you all looked at your screen time, it's probably well over a couple hours, true or false, right? And all we're asking for is 2 minutes. 2 minutes to transform and to help you start winning within, and then you to be able to do that with others. That's all we're asking for. Can you guys commit to that? That's our common interest. That's what we're all committed to. Sound good? Cool. Fist bump somebody. Mr. Sandy, do you have anything?
No, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. It is the first Thursday of every month, right? So plan on that. I'll be pulling you from classes. I'll send a video link so you can see anything that we talked about. I'll be sending you some email reminders. I'm excited to work with this group. I'm excited to change this thing. Thanks for being rocking. Thanks for being here.
All right, man.
This bumps people on the way out too. I won't be right away on any crazy new, but I'll send something to your teachers, I promise, all right?
Thanks for being here. Yeah, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here.
But it's
Have a great day.